Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back down under the mat. We're here with a special episode for you today. We are 2 weeks out from the Royal Rumble, or less than 2 weeks by the time this goes out. And we're going to be doing 2025 Royal Rumble predictions. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dan
That's what I'm here for.
I'm Roddy Reece. We are here in Madison Square Garage. We're not going to book the entire 30 for both Rumbles, so I'll remove that expectation from you. We will be predicting the winner, the final four, who opens, and then 5 returns/surprises.
Yeah. Well, we need to flip it around so we don't tell everyone who wins because it could be one of the surprise entrants.
Yes.
So we'll do it in backwards order, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it.
Do
you want to kick off or shall I kick it off?
I'll kick off.
Okay.
If you would like. And I think we should start with the men's Royal Rumble.
Yeah, we'll talk about the women because they're going to get a lot of special treatment.
There's probably a lot more to that for us to talk about. So the men's Royal Rumble, 30 men, not 40.
Not 40 like the prediction that someone put out. I mean it would be cool to see that again.
Maybe our prediction from a few months ago that The Rock's number 31 happens. Who knows?
Yep.
But in general, 30 men. Winning, obviously, main events WrestleMania.
Yes.
You know how the Royal Rumble works.
We're not going to give you the rules.
So let's pick the first 2 people.
Yep, great idea.
To start with. Who do we think is going to start the Royal Rumble? Now, last year, we had the massive anticipation of Jimmy and Jay starting the Royal Rumble. Which
Excellent start.
Led to a really crappy WrestleMania match.
Yes.
But in general, the way that they try and book this, because years ago they used to do tournaments where you'd see who'd get their number and all that good sort of stuff, right? And
spin the bingo wheel.
Yeah, and there used to be matches to see who got it the number 30 spot. They haven't done that in the last couple of years, so I don't think they will.
Leave it as a surprise.
Book it as a story. This is a hour-long story of a match. So my prediction to start this hour-long story of the match is that somebody who has already nominated themselves for the Royal Rumble, they've already come out on TV and said, I'm going to go in the Royal Rumble, I'm going to win the Royal Rumble, I'm going to WrestleMania.
Point to the
Number 1, because we're going to make this...
Point to the sign. Luke can edit it in.
Yeah, WrestleMania. Yeah, he can. Yeah. Let's make this year as tough as physically possible for him, even though it's his last. John Cena enters the Royal Rumble at number 1.
Excellent choice, I think.
Could be Juan Cena if you really wanted to.
Juan Cena?
So I think he's the first. Because I think this year we're going to stack the deck against him because he's Super Cena and everyone wants to see him win, but we're going to make it as hard as possible to get there.
Absolutely.
And then number 2, you can put...
I've already forgot all your predictions, so this is...
Oh, good. Okay, that's great. For number 2, you could put a big heel in and someone sort of, destroy him and make it really hard for him. And I'm going to put a match here because I think a lot of people want to see this, and I don't know if WWE will find the time to put this for Cena's last year.
Yeah.
So this is how you get it. This is how you get 5 minutes.
Rumors came out about it, but people were very against it, apparently.
Yeah. So this is how you get 5 minutes of Logan Paul versus John Cena, is you have the 2 of them, 1-2 in the Royal Rumble.
Genius idea. Absolutely.
That's my start. What's yours?
Right. I've got possibly one of the biggest, most intimidating men on the roster at this current point in time.
Dominic Mysterio.
Incorrect.
Damn.
He is reportedly going to be a major focus for WWE this year, and number 1 goes to Drew McIntyre this year.
Iron Man. I could see him doing Iron Man. I could see him going the whole time.
He comes out, and he's standing in the ring, and it's taking a long time for someone's music to hit. Building the anticipation, and then say his name, and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry enters the men's Royal Rumble at number 2.
The crowd is going to go wild.
They would go absolutely mental.
Spoiler for, obviously, surprise entrants. Joe Hendry's going to be one of them.
Yes, he is one of them. Final 4. Let's move on.
Let's go to our surprises.
Oh, we'll go to surprises and then we'll get to the final 4.
Correct.
Good idea.
So we both have, obviously, Joe Hendry as a surprise entrant.
Crystal clear.
If you've seen the news recently, obviously WWE and NXT and TNA have announced a partnership which says specifically between
3 years.
TNA, NXT, and selected premium live events.
Yes.
The Royal Rumble is said selected premium live event.
Oh, absolutely.
Joe Hendry will be there.
Yeah.
So that's one for both of us.
Yes, correct.
I think we both probably also have a returning Randall Orton
Yes, correct.
showing up in the Royal Rumble. I mean, if he doesn't, he's probably going to have something to do with Cody and KO in that thing.
Yeah.
But I think he's a big enough name. He's been off injured.
I think the surprise Rumble appearance is what would be best for that situation. I think just let Cody and KO do their thing, have that ladder match, have the result happen, and then he can get involved in the story afterwards if they want to still continue that.
Yep.
It's the easiest way to work it in.
All right, here's where we've now got differing choices.
Yes.
Who's your surprise entrant?
So I've got a surprise return. AJ Styles, because I've recently seen reports that he is medically cleared to compete.
He would also be great for that TNA WWE relationship.
Yeah. Get him back in TNA. Put him up against Moose. Love me some Moose.
You love Moose. You really do.
Moose. I did not put him as a surprise.
Could you imagine Moose versus Obafemi?
Amazing. Sign me up.
Not in the Royal Rumble.
Not in the Royal Rumble.
So AJ Styles is one of yours.
Yeah, so that's 3.
I'm going to have... I'll pick also an injury return to come into the Royal Rumble. I haven't told Reece my selection.
Yes, he did keep this from me.
I don't know how the timeline is working for this wrestler, but I'm hoping that he is cleared and ready to go. And I would love to see Ilya Dragunov
Oh, yes.
return
That'd
in
be
the Royal
great.
Rumble.
I'd love to see him back.
Somewhere mid. 12, 13, 14.
Could you imagine him coming back and being involved in that Sheamus Braun Ludwig scene for the IC title?
And this is how you do it, right? You've got Ludwig already in the Rumble somewhere.
good.
He comes in, he eliminates him. Gunther shouldn't need to be in the Rumble, but like if he just chops the
should be
crap out of Ludwig and stuff, and like, let's do that. Let's get Ilya back, please.
I've got Trick Williams.
Okay, yeah.
Because he's now lost the NXT Championship to Obafemi. I feel like WWE might be looking at him favorably, give him a spot in the Rumble, see how he goes, see how the crowd reacts, and then potential call-up afterwards.
Okay, I'm going to do the same thing as you with my NXT call-up, except I'm going to pick the wrestler that The Rock has chosen as the best person from NXT, and I'm going to choose Ethan Page.
With that sweet, sexy ass.
Yeah, to come up and him have a spot in this Royal
It's funny
Rumble.
because I'm pretty sure that was one of my first thoughts when I saw that interaction between Page and The Rock. I was like, it's just a matter of time before Ethan gets called up, I reckon.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Give him the Royal Rumble spot.
If The Rock's giving him the rub like that on TV in a segment with his own daughter, I reckon he sees a lot in Ethan and it's just a matter of time.
And what would be hilarious would be if, say, somehow The Rock is in this Royal Rumble
That number 31.
and Ethan Page is still in there, and Ethan Page comes up to him and he's like, "Hey, buddy, what's great?" And smacks him on the ass, and The Rock just throws him straight out of the Rumble.
Book it. That'd be fantastic. For my last surprise return or appearance, I have TNA talent, given the new deal that's been recently struck.
So you're on 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nick Nemeth.
The wanted man.
Specifically just to see everyone's reaction about Dolph Ziggler returning.
Okay. How would
Because
they-
I was
how they
going to
do
put Moose in, but I was like, no, that's a cop-out. I do that for a lot of things. So I was like, something a little different.
I mean, this will date the video for us because it's pre-TNA Genesis, but I'm hoping that Joe Hendry is the TNA champion. So
Yes,
he goes
correct.
into the Royal Rumble as the champion, which can mean that Nemeth can just come in as Nick Nemeth.
Or Moose can just go in.
Or Moose can go in. My last pick, not quite as exciting as yours. I don't know. It depends who you talk to. Another injury return, someone that I have actually been reading recently is now cleared and is close to a return. And they have said that there are plans for this person coming into WrestleMania season. And I think that
Spicy.
this is more towards a different division, but I think that you would love to see Tyler Bate come back.
Yes, I've been hearing reports he's getting cleared.
And get him in there and get him to do a big spin on somebody. And
Yeah.
just get him to put someone on his shoulders and spin him around.
Conversely, then means that we need to have Butch. Oh, sorry. Pete Dunne needs to be in the Royal Rumble as well because they need to have a thing. Because Pete Dunne's now heel. Tyler Bate will still be face. Last time.
No, I think
they
you
were together.
you scrap the whole.
You just scrap it.
Yeah,
You're
they
just going to
come back as
ignore
a
that
tag team.
history.
No, well, I think Tyler comes back and just says, "Hey, Pete, what are you doing? Settle down. Let's go back for titles. We can make this division work. We'll be fine." And they're like, all right, let's go, brov. And then they go and they just become New Catch Republic again. I haven't thought about
I'm
this
surprised
yet.
you remember that name because I forgot it.
New Catch Republic. I haven't thought about this yet, but I think we need to put this in this video, and we'll do it now. What's the R-Truth spot?
Oh,
Because if you watched him on CBB, he said that the hot tag spot
he's done.
but that was a fan's idea.
Yep. He's done the Money in the Bank spot.
Yeah, the ladder spot, and he's done the women's rumble.
Yeah.
What spot does he do this time? Because there's got to be something funny where he comes in. Maybe he comes in to like...
So he comes in, right?
Yeah.
He comes in. He does his John Cena imitation, the shoulder charges, the five-knuckle shuffle. We'll get someone up for the attitude adjustment.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a champion. Maybe Bron Breakker.
Yeah.
And then he goes for the pin. That's the best I got because he like that tag spot and that Money in the Bank spot. Amazing, hilarious.
Yeah.
But like, what else can you do? Like in that sort of vein,
I'd
where
see
it's like
him-
it's not that sort of match, buddy. What are you doing? Like that's the only other situation I can see.
I could see him coming out and doing the Spider-Man meme with John Cena when they just point at each other.
Just had an idea.
Yeah.
What if earlier in the night, backstage segment, we see him walking around with a Money in the Bank briefcase that he's purchased from the
From the
merchandise
WWE shop.
from the merchandise shop.
It's going to be Tiffy's one.
And then he runs in during the match and goes to the referee. I'm cashing in.
Yes, that one.
There we go.
That's a good spot.
That'd
All
be
right, great. Glad we got there.
All right. Final four.
Well, R-Truth, clearly. No, so my final four that I have, we know this Royal Rumble is going to be stacked. We already know
It's too stacked, man.
we've got Drew, Punk, Seth, Roman, Ray, Cena. You're going to have all of the top stars in, so it's going to be a very packed whoever wins this Royal Rumble. My final four that I'm going to book is essentially what we've kind of booked for how we think WrestleMania turns out this year. So we're going to have Seth and Punk, right?
Yeah.
I think those two are going to be two of the last four. I think you're going to have Roman in there as well, because you're not putting Roman Reigns in the Royal Rumble to get him eliminated 17th and have no impact, right?
Yeah.
Unless like The Rock is the one who eliminates him or something. There's a big story to it. Roman's in this match for a reason.
Yeah.
So I think he's final four. And the person that I'm putting in there in the final four with them is Jacob Fatu. Strap the rocket to Jacob Fatu, send him to the moon.
To the moon.
I think he is the one that I think will have the most eliminations in this Royal Rumble as well. I reckon he'll have like 6 or 7. So that's my final four. Seth, Punk, Roman, and Fatu.
I've got half of that. I've also got Seth and Punk, but this also ties in with our predictions for WrestleMania. The other two competitors that I have, I've got Drew going almost the full distance.
Yeah.
So he's going to be part of the final four. And I've got John Cena in there.
Okay. So that will be for mine. Also an Iron Man position for him.
Yes, correct. So having those as the final four, I've got Punk and Cena. Because like when you have that final four, usually you have like 2 go off. So I've developed the story where it's Punk and Cena because they've got great history.
They do.
And the same with Seth and Drew.
Yep.
But Drew and Punk also have history. So that they all have really good history with each other, except Drew and Cena, from what I remember.
Yeah.
So you can have any sort of interaction between all four. Have them do like WWE lately has been really good at booking multi-man matches and having them flow really well. You can have that in the Royal Rumble with these competitors, because they know each other so well.
And I think one of the gripes, I guess, people have said on the Triple H booking in the last few years has been he hasn't been very good at booking Royal Rumbles. He's been good at booking Royal Rumble finishes, and the Final Four and stuff will be great, but the actual match to itself hasn't really been booked that well. Having characters of this quality and this size allows those stories to go throughout the whole thing.
I think it's going to be really, it's going to be one of the Royal Rumbles for the ages.
For sure. You get CM Punk in there and you get John Cena in there. There is so much history. Everybody wants to see that. And then they're about to fight Drew McIntyre. Claymore's CM Punk's head off. You steal it away from you. You get Punk and Seth face to face, and then Roman spears Seth out of the way. Like there's so much to put in here.
Yeah. You might question why I don't have Roman Reigns in my final four, and that's not because Dan has chosen him. It's because as much as I don't want it to happen, I'd love Kevin to win at the Royal Rumble and be the actual champion. But I feel like for this final four to work, KO loses.
And then Cody,
yep. As Roman's in that final 5, he's eliminated by Kevin Owens, who comes out to stop him from getting that championship opportunity.
So we're saying that the men's rumble closes the pay-per-view.
Well, it's going to have to in that case.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, the rumor
with that.
of Rocket number 31 as well would have to come on last.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I've got KO coming in, not as an entrant, but just coming in and costing Roman Reigns.
So who
That's
wins?
why he's not in my final four.
Who wins yours?
In line with our WrestleMania predictions, I have gone with Seth Rollins as the winner.
Yes.
Seth Rollins goes towards WrestleMania to get that championship opportunity. There's still bad blood with him and Punk.
Mm-hmm.
He rubs that in Punk's face. Punk cashes in that favor with Paul Heyman for a title shot. Punk wins the title.
Yep.
So Seth has to face him.
Correct. That is exactly the story that I've pitched for months now. That's how this works out.
I really like that story, and I'm sticking with it.
Seth wins the Royal Rumble. And I don't think it's Seth eliminating Punk last. I think Punk gets taken out by Fatu or something, and then Seth just takes advantage and throws Roman and Fatu out and wins it sneakily, like where Punk can be frustrated that he didn't win, but he can't claim it was Seth's fault.
Yeah.
Like, not directly by Seth. I think Seth could have distracted or done something for Punk to be...
Can you imagine that scenario? Roman throwing over Punk.
Yep.
Him and Fatu brawling at the ropes. Seth just dumps them both over. Because Punk would still be, like, he'd be fine. He'd be, like, looking up and looking around like, shit, I just lost my opportunity. And then he watches Seth Rollins win.
Yep.
That
spot
adds fuel to the fire. I can see it in my head.
And he'd be so
What
mad.
a sight.
He would be so mad. And that could also then set up your Roman and Fatu if you want to do that at WrestleMania, if we're not having The Rock or Cody and all that kind of stuff.
I don't
know what to do with
don't
Roman
want to see
I don't know.
all signs, especially after Heyman and Cody on SmackDown, all signs point to him trying to get back to that title, but I don't want it yet. Give it at least a couple years breather before he gets it back, if he does.
Yep. All right.
Women's Royal Rumble match.
Same process for the Women's Royal Rumble.
Yes. Openers.
30 women, etc., etc. You know the rules.
Blah, 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 blah. Openers, returns, final four, and then the winner.
So this one, we've said this on our podcast and stuff and our predictions for the year, that we probably think that a third of this Rumble is surprises, returns, or people we're not seeing right now. So there is so much more that can happen to this Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
So we've gone and we've made sure we've got differing people. Otherwise, we'd have many of the same people returning. So my opening for the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble, the first wrestler I'm going to have is Liv Morgan. She's going to be number one because the last couple of years she's come out like second. She's been there right to the end, and she's lost to Rhea. She lost to Bayley. She's been so close. This year she's going to start from number one and go the whole way through. Number two, it's going to be Becky Lynch. The man is going to return
In the Rumble.
at
Against
number two.
the woman that she lost her championship to.
Correct. And you're going to get
Story right for
the
itself,
big,
folks.
being one or two, you get your full entrance.
Yeah.
So you're going to get the man, you're going to get the whole crowd popping for her, and then you can have Liv and Beck start it out really well, and then you can start throwing people on top of that start building more and more stories.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's my opening.
My openers, I've got at number one, someone who I don't feel the glow of is Naomi. I've got her starting number one strictly because I have a certain superstar debuting. Spoiler as one of the surprises. Jordan Grace at number two.
Again, they had this last year, didn't they?
Yes, they had the face-off last year. They very recently, prior to Naomi's return at the Rumble last year, they had a feud in TNA.
Where she dropped the title to Jordan. Yep.
Naomi dropped the title to Jordan. So I feel like it'd be a really interesting turn of events to have that face-off to start the Rumble. So I've booked two. Well, maybe by the time she's in the Rumble, she's not TNA talent, but two TNA talent as number two spots for the Royal Rumble.
Who are your 5 return or surprises? Obviously, the first one,
Obviously,
Jordan Grace. I agree with that, 100%. She's showing up. I'd put my house on it.
We did see her on SmackDown this week, but she's not an official main roster talent. By this time, she will be Roxanne Perez.
She's if you look at our WWE predictions video, which is down in our videos, Reece's prediction to win. So that might be a spoiler for later in the video.
Kind of is, sorry.
Kind of is. I'm also interested to go watch the CVV interview next week with
I'm pumped
Jordan
that
Grace.
I saw Jordan put on her Instagram the teaser, the fact she's doing CVV, and I was like, oh, I'm watching that for sure.
Very interesting. All right, so the first person I'm going to say as a return for this Royal Rumble.
Well, you've got Becky. Is that part of it, or is it?
No, Becky's not one of the ones.
Okay.
I think Becky's in there. We all kind of assume Becky's coming back. The other one that I think that we're all assuming is going to come back, and there was a vignette for her on Smacky D this week, which was great because it was a vignette for Charlotte Flair, and it sort of showed her and life.
Very different sort of presentation for her, which
very rich Charlotte Flair.
Yeah, I texted Dan and I was like, I did not audibly groan or roll my eyes. Good work, WWE.
Yep, Charlotte Flair. And I think, what is it that Santi says? Death, taxes, and Charlotte Flair winning a title when she returns from an injury. I think that she comes back and goes very, very deep into this Royal Rumble.
Okay. I have a TNA talent next.
Okay.
Your current women's knockouts champion, Masha Slamovich. So you can tie in the history with Jordan Grace because Jordan dropped the knockouts championship to Masha.
Okay, so you're putting more TNA storylines in the Rumble. I like it. I'm going to put in a returning injury person, kind of like Charlotte. One that I don't know if we're going to have this storyline wrapped up before the Rumble or if this will be the catalyst for it. Okay. So I'm going to have Jade Cargill return in this Royal Rumble.
I do suspect that she's going to be back in the Rumble.
And I think what you will see is there will be a point where she comes 10, 11, somewhere in the middle-ish. Naomi's already out there. Bianca's already out there. And maybe Bailey.
And they go to do their...
No. Let me tell my story. So that they're all standing there. Everyone else is on the ground. Jade comes in. And then Jade looks at each of them. Because you don't know who injured Jade. We don't know who took her out.
We've got nothing yet. As confirmed on SmackDown, there's no lead.
She'll look at Bailey. And then she'll look across at Bianca. And then she'll look across at Naomi.
I'm getting excited just like...
And then all three of them will be like, what is it? Who is it? Who's it going to be? And then Jade's going to attack her attacker. She's going to take out Bianca Belair. Bang! Right there in the middle of the Rumble. And that's how we all know who took out Jade. And then the story comes from that point.
Oh. Man, if that doesn't happen, that's such a disappointment. Because that, like, the way that WWE can build those stories and build that anticipation, like, in the moment...
Yep.
The crowd would erupt. They'd all be on their feet because they know someone took her out.
And who was it? So you have your list of suspects.
They surely got to do that now.
If they didn't, Triple H.
DMs.
WrestleMania tickets, we've asked for it a couple of times. Just
flights and accommodation.
We're going flights and accommodation too.
Yeah, we've said that.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. Should we throw in, now that we're giving you more ideas, should we throw in Raw and SmackDown tickets too? Like make a full weekend of it? The whole lot. Per page, just... slide into our DMs.
My next surprise. I'm going to leave my fifth one because I've picked them at number 30, so I'm going to leave them till last.
Okay.
This one, I've seen her recently be active in the ring again. Not currently employed.
Okay.
So surprise return from Peyton Royce. And yes, I'm picking favourites because Peyton Royce is better than Billie Kay. No offence, I love them both.
But they are both.
But Peyton... Good even pose.
Sorry. I'd love to see it. Wasn't she...
She's recently been training with Charlotte.
I was going to say with Charlotte. I've seen the pictures, yeah.
And Kiana James, wherever she's been.
Wasn't she like the lawyer one for the Mafia family? Or was that someone else?
No, she is actually a lawyer. She's trained. She's got a degree, but she wasn't the Mafia family.
She was the one that got drafted up and then nothing ever happened with her, right?
Correct.
Yeah, correct. Okay. So how many do you have left?
One.
All right, well, I'll throw my... For some reason, I've got two here that you don't, for some reason. So I'm going to throw...
Well, yeah, because I had
Jordan. Oh, you had Jordan already. Yeah. Right, perfect. Makes sense. So I'm going to throw two people coming up from NXT that I think will be in this Royal Rumble. You can take your pick from a bunch of women that should come up. Maybe it's Zarya, maybe it's Stephanie Vaquer, maybe it's Lola Vice. Maybe one of them gets a spot. I'm going to pick the two of Julia.
I just remembered I didn't whinge about Stephanie Vaquer this week.
What are you whinging about?
Well, she lost her number one contenders match.
Oh, to Shotzi.
When she won it the week before.
Yeah, look, let's talk about Shotzi the better. I'm going to say that Julia, as the NXT champion, gets her spot in the Rumble, mainly for promotion of NXT and getting her up in the main Rumble.
Good idea.
Giving her a few spots with some people will be fun. And the other one that I'm going to put up, which they have been sort of peppering with storylines with the main roster, and maybe you can put her as one of the ones in the lineup when Jade comes back, is Lash Legend.
Ooh, Lashley's so good.
Like Lash, Bianca,
So good.
Bailey, Naomi, they're all standing there waiting for Jade, and then just Jade runs through all of them. But those are my two NXT call-ups, I think, or not necessarily call-ups, but the ones that are going to get their spots.
Yep.
Now, your last pick is your 30 pick, so I'm going to leave
number
it.
30 entrance.
So I'll put my one in again. I'm going to throw 3 at you before we get to your one, which I really like your pick.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to throw in the women tend to have a throwback, a historic person.
Yeah.
Victoria was shown on SmackDown this week. Michelle McCool was shown on the Raw on Netflix. So like they tend to go with a legend or a former diva that will show up in this Royal Rumble. The pick that I'm going to make for this is Mickie James.
Good
I'm
idea.
going to put Mickie James. Again, you can probably go down that TNA path if you really wanted to, because she was in TNA for a while. She's obviously married to Nick Aldis. You can make a storyline out of that. But I think Mickie James will pop up and get a little bit of a spot in this Royal Rumble as one of those legend spots.
Good idea.
Right? Your pick. And number 30.
Number 30 for the Women's Rumble. Much speculated.
So 29.
This might not be a surprise to some people.
There's women everywhere. There's bodies all over the floor. Nia Jax is in there on top of everybody. You've got your Becky and your Charlotte. Everyone's around, and then it's 10, 4, 3, 2, 1.
AJ Lee returns.
Light it up. Light it up.
I'm glad that you remembered how that started because I forgot.
I was building for you and you didn't do it. I was like, God, I'm going to go the whole way.
I was gonna, but I forgot what her music sounded like. I kept thinking of Brie Bella's one, and I was like, no, that's not it.
It's
That's
Light
not
It
it. Yes, I've got AJ Lee. A lot of people are hoping that she makes a surprise appearance in this Rumble. It's just keep your fingers crossed. It might happen. It likely will not, but I've put her in as a surprise.
And I think if she does make a surprise, it is a Rumble spot only. I don't think she's back wrestling. I
Yeah,
don't think she shows up on TV. I don't think Punk wants her anywhere near their storylines with like him and Seth. And I was like, we don't need to see Punk and AJ against Becky and Seth. Like, no. She has a spot in the Rumble. Everyone pops at her. Maybe she shows up at Raw after Mania or something afterwards. You see her once or twice, but she's a...
And this works with who I've got in my final 4. Because coming in at number 30,
Yes.
by that stage, Roxanne will still be in the Royal Rumble. And we all know about Roxanne, CM Punk, AJ Lee. They all love each other.
Yeah. CM
So
Punk's
there will
daughters.
be interaction. She will come face to face with her idol. And then Roxanne Perez will give her a gut punch and start beating her.
And then eliminate her.
Yeah. She will be eliminated by Roxanne Perez.
So who's your final 4?
So obviously Roxanne.
Yes.
We've also got Becky Lynch,
Yes.
Charlotte Flair,
Yes. There's 3 of my final 4 as well.
Io Sky.
Okay.
I know a lot of people want Io versus Rhea this year. Mm-hmm. I reckon Io wins Chamber. Because as my predictions for WrestleMania 41,
Yep.
Roxanne Perez wins the Royal Rumble.
That's your pick to win. Okay.
That was my 2025 prediction.
So my final 4 are 3 of the same for you. So it's Charlotte, Roxanne, and Becky. But I'm going to put Nia Jax in there.
I think she needs a good showing in the
the
Rumble.
immovable object.
Yeah.
I think to this you're going to have Charlotte and Becky fighting each other. You're going to have Roxanne and Nia fighting each other. And I think the general outcome to that, you think you'll get to, we'll have Charlotte versus Becky. Oh, nobody wants to see that at the end of the Rumble. And you'll have Nia ready to throw out Roxanne. And somehow Roxanne muscles Nia up. And Roxanne Perez, the tiny little NXT woman, throws Nia Jax over the top rope. At the same time, on the other side of the ring, Charlotte eliminates Becky.
Ooh.
And then they just turn. And then you've got Charlotte and Roxanne, both former NXT champions, like everything there. And then you give them a good 5-6 minutes. And unfortunately for your pick, Charlotte, for me, wins this Royal Rumble.
Yeah. That's
And then Charlotte goes on to WrestleMania to face Tiffany Stratton.
Whereas I didn't really plan too far ahead for Roxanne. I was just like, WWE love doing their firsts, and they're running out of firsts. So what better than to do another first than have a main roster debutante win a Royal Rumble?
Yeah.
Roxanne is the prodigy after all. Booker T loves reminding us of that.
Shucky ducky quack
His
quack.
prodigy.
Interesting Royal Rumble picks we've got. So we've
Yes.
got Seth Rollins winning the men's, which leads to the Punk and Heyman storyline into WrestleMania. And I've got Charlotte winning the women's going into a Tiffy match at WrestleMania, and you've got Roxanne winning it into...
You can put it with Tiffy, you can put it with Rhea. Either one works. But I think because I said Io Sky and Rhea, put it with
Put
Tiffy.
it with the Tiffy side.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, I'm so keen. Let us know below who your picks are for the Royal Rumble. The one I just remembered that I said on our last podcast that I was going to add that I forgot to add. The spot that I would love to see, maybe not love to see, but I think we might be seeing, is it's been announced that the Raw before Saturday night's main event on the 27th or whatever it is of January is coming from Atlanta, Georgia, where Roman Reigns is coming back to have his celebration be shown as on the cover of 2K25.
Yeah.
But Atlanta, Georgia, like you said, is the home of Goldberg. So I reckon Goldberg comes back at that Raw, says he will go into the Royal Rumble.
Oh, it's so stacked, bro.
And Goldberg enters the Royal Rumble at number 15. And then at number 16 is Braun Breaker. And then they just both spear each other out of their boots. That's it. That's all I want to see. And then just throw them out.
Yeah, done. Book it. The only shitty thing about the Royal Rumble is the fact that it's the day after my wedding. So there will likely not be any podcast reviews. So you will have to wait.
Straight away.
You will have to wait to get our thoughts on it. We might do one maybe midweek or something. Or just do a quick one week on from the Rumble. But yes, I'm getting married the day before the
Annie,
Royal Rumble.
whenever you let him free, we'll do the podcast, okay, Annie? So just think of our legion of fans.
Well, I will be watching it live.
We're nearly
I've
on our
already
way to
cleared
1,000.
this with Annie. I'll be watching it live. We got some friends from interstate coming over, so we've got some time with them before they go. One of them likes wrestling, so we'll sit there and we'll watch the Royal
One
Rumble.
of them will. That's cute.
Well, this guy I used to live with, we used to watch wrestling all the time. We used to do what we do now, come up with ridiculous theories and things that we want to see.
I'll have editor.
Except we didn't have a platform to put it out on.
I have editor Luke with me, so we'll be here. We'll be watching the Royal Rumble.
Just have editor Luke sit in and do the podcast.
I mean, maybe if he wants to be. We don't really want to put his pretty face in front of all of our fans, though, right? I mean, it might
just be the mystery handsome man.
It might get us to 1,000. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know.
But yeah, let us know in the comments down below who your surprise picks or your winner of the Royal Rumble will be. And if you want to have a chat to us longer form, come chat to us on Discord.
Yep.
Or TikTok if you're not in America.
Yes. We will still be active on TikTok.
We'll be there. We'll be on Instagram. We'll be watching. We want to talk
X.
wrestling. Let us know.
Come talk wrestling with us. Tell us your theories. What you want to see most in 2025.
Do you want to see Goldberg spear Braun Breaker out of his boots?
Do you want to see Goldberg win the Rumble?
Do you want to see Lesnar come back?
I really do.
Yeah, you do.
I really do. I like Lesnar.
Do you want to see LA Knight win the Royal Rumble?
I'm not going to say it. Because no, I don't want to do it.
I was waiting for the yeah. I was like handballing it for you. Take it. Do it. No. Yeah. I don't want to say that either.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. We have been Mr. Dan Danielson and Rowdy Roddy Reece. This is Down Under the Mat. Let us know your thoughts. Like, follow, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in.